I never believed a single resource could define a nation's destiny. But in Burkina Faso, gold was not just a metal. It was the crown jewel long stolen, hidden, and fought over. This is the story of how Captain Ibrahim Traoré rose, challenged empires, and dared to reclaim what was always meant to belong to his people. Burkina Faso, deep in the heart of West Africa, is among the richest nations in gold deposits. And yet, for decades, the wealth it spawned flowed outwards, like water leaked through cracked pipes. Multinational mining companies extracted tons of gold. Foreign shareholders collected profits. Local communities remained in poverty. This was the silent injustice written into the soil. In September 2022, at just 34 years old, Ibrahim Traoré led a coup that ousted the interim government. He became Burkina Faso's youngest head of state. Some saw it as another power grab. Others saw in him a new kind of leader, someone willing to disrupt old patterns. From day one, Traoré declared boldly, "We will not let our resources be plundered any longer." The first major conflict came when 45 tons of Burkina Faso's gold, worth billions, were frozen inside vaults at the Bank of England by a British court. Many outside thought the case was over. The gold belonged not to a private firm, but to a sovereign nation. Traoré refused to back down. He sent legal challenges, diplomatic pressure, and public statements, all to reclaim what was stolen. That moment turned into a global test. Could a small African country stand up to former colonial powers and win? He didn't stop there. Traoré overhauled Burkina Faso's mining laws. He nationalized major gold mines, insisted on greater state control, and restructured contracts so that revenue stayed within the country. He also formed a state mining company, SOPAMIB, that took over key operations from foreign companies. The message: the days of passive resource exportation were done. From now on, the gold would be refined, sold, and taxed at home. These reforms were not smooth. Powerful interests, from abroad and within, resisted. Mining giants accused Traoré of violating investor treaties. International actors questioned his legitimacy and stability. But Traoré countered, "State sovereignty must be upheld. Prior agreements cannot override the fundamental right of a country to control its own wealth." At home, the stakes were real. Many Burkinabés had lived under grinding poverty. Infrastructure was weak, roads crumbled, schools ill-equipped, health systems underfunded. Traoré pledged that revenues from gold would fund hospitals, schools, agriculture, and jobs, not line the pockets of distant shareholders. Over time, some smaller mining permits for artisanal operations were suspended or regulated to clamp down on illegal gold trade. Internationally, the reactions were loud. Some praised a brave stand against neo-colonial resource theft. Others warned of economic backlash, loss of foreign investment, or legal battles. Some countries accused Traoré of using the gold reserves to enrich his own government. Yet he maintained the narrative. This was not about personal gain. It was about national dignity and restorative justice. Then came moments that tested everything. As the new mining laws took effect, foreign corporations pushed back. Some were forced to renegotiate stakes. Others lost permits. In mid-2025, Traoré's government formally transferred 5 additional gold mining assets into SOPAMIB, mines and exploration licenses previously held by foreign firms. The symbolic and financial weight of that move sent shockwaves through global markets. Within Burkina Faso, some citizens cheered, others worried. Could the state manage mining efficiently? Could it guard against corruption? Could it deliver real improvements in daily life? The challenges of security, insurgency, and political stability pressed heavily. Moreover, the lines between populism and authoritarianism blurred. Critics accused Traoré of suppressing dissent, curtailing press freedoms, and relying on military rule. Nevertheless, his supporters pointed to a new national confidence. Burkina Faso would no longer beg for crumbs, it would demand full portions. Meanwhile, across the continent, a narrative began to shift. For years, many African nations felt powerless against global extractive systems. Traoré's boldness resonated. Students, activists, and leaders watched Burkina Faso's experiment closely, wondering, can this model be replicated? Can African nations reclaim their mineral sovereignty? By 2025, Traoré's legacy was being written in gold, literally. Hundreds of millions in new revenue were flowing to state coffers. New mining revenues were invested in infrastructure and development. The long fight over 45 frozen tons in London had become a symbol. An African country demanding dignity and justice. But the path ahead is not assured. External pressures, legal claims, regional security threats, and political dissent still threaten the project. Can Traoré steer Burkina Faso toward an inclusive future where prosperity is shared? Or will power again be concentrated, wealth hoarded, and promises broken? In that tension lies the story. One man, one nation, one fight. Not just for gold, but for the right to write one's own destiny. And in that fight lies a lesson for every country whose wealth has been siphoned off, whose voice has been silenced. The true power lies not in the gold itself, but in the courage to reclaim it.